This is by far my most value-driven video I've ever put out on my channel. Like, no joke, it was actually my favorite to build. It took me like 2 hours to build all of this, guys, for you. So definitely do not miss this. Like, I promise you, I'm going to be diving deep into the billion-dollar content strategy that Hormozi uses, Eman, Joel, Charlie Morgan, a bunch of other big creators, all doing over 1 million a month, all use this. Like, no joke, you can make some serious plays by actually implementing what I share in this video. And it actually reminds me of a Roman emperor called Nero. Now, Nero wanted a big palace, just like these guys want a shit ton of money, even more than they already have. Nero wanted a palace, and he wanted to basically own more of Rome and just build more buildings. Now, the night that he was planning to build these, this palace or whatever he wanted, there happened to be a fire which turned into the Great Fire of Rome. Massive fire, and it just happened to be the same night that he wanted his palace. Some people think he did it, some people think he didn't, but basically, yeah, he burnt down all of Rome just so he could build what he wanted to build. And it reminds me of these guys. Like, obviously not as ethically bad as that, but well, I mean, kind of E-Man especially, but yeah, E-Man, creating chaos, benefiting from it. Joel, if we go to his channel, like, it like I'm gonna miss, yeah, it's really funny how people don't see through it and just like, but it's so obvious. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book, but yeah, as a base I just wanted to include this funny part, but it reminds me of this guy, the Roman emperor, just because it's like, don't listen to anyone else, only listen to me, and just try to get all the attention around yourself. And then E-Man is a bit more of like a, I wouldn't say ethically wrong, but I'd say yeah, it's a bit up for debate in terms of, especially if you go to E-Man's latest sort of videos. It's all like, it's very like it's questionable. It's very questionable, but a lot of scarcity, a lot of yeah, trying to put fear into the market, and yeah, I mean, a lot of money is always made from that, but I personally wouldn't do that. But one thing that all these guys have in common is long form at the top of the funnel. It's what they prioritize. Yes, they have Instagrams. Hormozi's got over 1 million. So's E-Man, probably, I think. Joel, Charlie, not so much. But they all have YouTube as their priority. Now, Hormozi was pushing short form not too long ago. And I do think short form's good. I think long form is by far the best. And I think the way in which content is going is a lot more long. Like, if we go to E-Man's videos, look, they're well over 30-40 minutes. We go to Joel's channel, they're going to be over like 30 minutes. I mean, I don't actually know, but if we, yeah, 38 minutes, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, like, and even Mr. Beast said that he's actually decided to slow down some of his videos because he's trying to go for a more raw, authentic approach, and it's what all these guys do very well. So yeah, long form. Now it involves the 7 hour rule. Now the 7 hour rule basically means that in order for a customer to buy like really easily, they must have seen about 7 hours of your content. So if you want to know how you can get people to see your content, then use the same sort of analogy that Hormozi uses, where he basically says, start in a pond, transfer to a lake, and then an ocean. And this is all in the problem aware section of this sort of board, as you could say. So what I mean by this is, start in a small niche. It's better to be known in a very small niche by everyone than compared to, like, if you were to just start making ecom videos. Like, there's already thousands, tens of thousands of people doing that. So start in a very small niche. Now, agency owners, you could go one step closer. You could go to, for example, only AI automation agency owners. It can be very small. Then you go into a lake, that could be agency owners, and then you go into an ocean, which is making money online, which is what all these guys, as Joel hasn't and Charlie hasn't, but Hormozi and E-Man has, and that's probably why they're making more money. It's just because of the amount of eyeballs they can generate, because they've gone more generalized with their content. However, they had to have started in the pond and the lake in order to go to the ocean. You can't just skip to the ocean. You have to start in a very small sub niche. Now, yeah, and it's very interesting because you can sort of see the point in which E-Man actually hired a sort of like a YouTube growth consultant. And if we go down all the way down to his like very, you can actually see the point where there's a transition where, he went from, I'm trying to think, mainly like agency content. So yeah, closing a 12 K a month for clients. Even this is still a bit generalized, but it's more like start a social media marketing agency. And then now it's 3 books to change my life. It's all the, productivity bullshit, like the 7 productivity. Yeah, it's a bunch of shit. But yeah, so I'm trying to think. Yeah, so next, ideation, so how to actually come up with the content. So now you know what you need to do in terms of the get attention. And by the way, we're going to be doing so much. And this is all in the problem aware. So what I mean by problem aware is at this stage, people who see your content are going to be problem aware. They're going to understand they have problems and they need to get it fixed. Now, this solution and product aware comes down, and then we'll talk about most aware, which is how they want to buy from you. But we need to start here. We can't like skip to the ocean, and likewise we can't skip to the bottom part. I need you to watch this. So in terms of the ideations, how to actually come up with the content that people want, topic. Now always think of the title and thumbnail first. That is the first thing you do when you create a YouTube video, especially long form. If the topic isn't what people want, people aren't going to click it. Now what we found from data, and I think Stephen Bartlett talked about this in one of his very, very old podcasts, was specific titles always do better. For example, a specific number, in a specific amount of days always does better, because specific numbers are more, they seem more reliable or accurate compared to, I made 10,000 in a month. If you were to put, I made $11,960 in 17 days, that is a much more specific and will probably do better. Next is filling. So what to actually fill the content with. What to fill the video with. Now, Hormozi, we learned something from old Alex Hormozi, which was, it's not sort of how the video looks, it's what's in it. It's purely the value in the video. That's all that matters. You don't need a fancy camera. You don't need a fancy editor. You don't even need a thumbnail editor. Ideally, get one because they're quite cheap. But we learned that it's purely what the value basically. That's all that matters. And we learned this because Hormozi used to make his content in like a literal tiny room, and they were some of the best videos he's ever produced. And once again, you can see him transition into the ocean part as well. But he started, just a raw, and it's what I do, a raw, unedited video, and they seem to be doing really well. They were doing really well. So next is send, but where to actually send the viewers. So once they click on it, first of all, you don't want to ask for likes. You don't want to ask for subscribers. You simply want the viewer to keep watching. How a video actually hits the algorithm is getting people to click on it. So click-through rate, which can be determined by your topic. So title, thumbnail, and then how to send people. So get people to watch the entire video. That should be the call to action. Keep watching. I'm going to share something at the end. Just like I'm going to share how to convert all this attention. But yeah, you can use a similar approach, and then send them to the your other content, and then they'll sort of be in your ecosystem, and the videos will pop up. And usually it takes about 3 videos in order to get a subscriber, which is crazy. And it really demonstrates this 7-hour rule, because what I'm saying is, I've sort of tested this, right? But in order for one of my viewers to click subscribe, they need to have seen 3 of my videos. And hitting this free subscribe button is completely free. Do it right now because I'm trying to get to 10K before the end of the year. But hitting the subscribe button is free, and it still takes people 3 videos to do that. And you really think they're going to buy for making 1 video? You need to incorporate the 7-hour rule. Now, ideally, be over 30 minutes. As I just mentioned, the way in which content is going is a lot more long form. We look at Alex Hormozi. He occasionally drops 10-minute videos. But if we go to his channel, as you can see, I'm not lying. It's really what's happening. 1 hour, 52 minutes, 24 minutes, 43 minutes, 1 hour minutes. Long form allows your viewer, the most hardcore viewers, to spend time with you, get nurtured, trust you more, and then buy. Because then they'll become solution and product aware, and they'll actually like you. So next is your content needs to solve people's problems for free. Let me repeat. Your content needs to solve people's problems for free. That is how you generate trust. That is how you generate likability, people to like you and to actually, come back for more. So that sort of links to old Alex Hormozi, where you just have value and you solve problems. Next is freemium model. Now, this is a sort of topic I made up, but essentially the awareness of the freemium model basically means that the perception of people, the perception of your paid service is in direct correlation to how good your free content is. Now, let me explain. So if you can make your really good content free, people's perception of what your paid one will be in direct correlation to what you're putting out for free. So that's one thing to be aware of. It sort of like drips into your paid thing. So, and that's why also, and I actually talk about this right at the bottom, which I won't go to yet, but same with like, I actually get this a lot, but like in your workflows, so when someone schedules a call with you, if you can make your workflows like really good, people think that correlates into the systems of your paid thing. So yeah, freemium model, understand that. Now, now they're problem aware because they've seen your content, they want to start an agency, just like what Eman does. Now they're problem aware. Like they have a problem, and the next stage is solution and product aware. They understand, the consumer understands they need a solution to their problem, which is probably scaling the agency, service delivery, whatever, I don't know. But yeah, and then they become product aware, which is of your product, they're aware of it basically. So now we've essentially got their attention using this, all these, really important points. We need to own the attention. And this involves developing an ecosystem. So let's talk about an omnipresent feedback loop. This is really, really important stuff and quite high level stuff. So what you'll notice is that these guys have a following on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, and you can find Alex Hormozi. Same with Eman, same with Joel. Charlie, not so much. He's more Twitter, YouTube. He's got an Instagram, but it's low following. But you need to have a following on all these platforms. Now, the reason might not be to actually get people to buy from other platforms. Yes, you can do that. And yes, we'll talk about hiring a growth specialist on these other platforms in a minute and how to do it really effectively. But it acts as a feedback loop. If we go down here. So it's an omnipresent feedback loop because let's say YouTube's at the top of the funnel, which it should be. You then funnel people into your Instagram, into your Discord or free Facebook group or whatever. And I'll talk about that here. But let's say Twitter and Instagram. You get followers on Twitter and Instagram. You then post your long form video on those Twitter and Instagram to get people back to your YouTube. And likewise, you go from your YouTube to your Twitter and your Instagram. So it acts as a feedback loop. Whenever you post on YouTube, you spread it to your Facebook, your Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever. And it acts as a feedback loop. Really, really important. And you can also, I won't get too much in depth because I'll talk about that in a minute of how we actually convert all this attention. But next is to capture attention. So free groups or Amazon model. So what I mean by Amazon model is basically Amazon Prime. What they do is they have a low ticket, obviously $12, $15 a month, which is Amazon Prime. Now, when you want to buy something online, who do you think you're going to go to? Obviously Amazon, because you're already paying that very small subscription. Likewise, a lot of what creators are doing, Serge Katari, other people at the moment is, I think Jeremy Miner's also doing it. He's doing $4 million a month. Now, what they do is they have a low ticket product, not for the money. Let's say I come out tomorrow and I say, look guys, I've got a Discord for $20 a month. I don't care about the 100 people I could get on it, which is $2,000 a month. I don't care about 2K. 2K is nothing to me, nothing to these guys. I'm not saying that's a brag. It's purely to tell you how this works. The reason they are coming out with low ticket models is because there's a difference in the lead cycle, basically, like the quality of leads. And a sales qualified lead, meaning that if someone buys a $15 product or $50 or $100 product, and you've got, a 5K, 10K product, the people who buy the low ticket product are way more qualified, which means we have their attention, and then we can, upsell them to the 10K program. That's how it works. So you can also do this with free groups. So you could just create a free Facebook group, free Discord, free school group, doesn't really matter, and use the same model where you go through that group and basically try to convert people to your paid. Obviously, if you can get like a bunch of people in a really low $10, $15, $50, $200 even a month sort of like community, and then you upsell them because they're qualified, because they're paid already, then that's one way to go about it, and that's what these guys are doing up here. So now behind the scenes, this is really important because you need to be likable. And the more you post behind the scenes, you'll notice that all these guys, they constantly post on IG stories, Instagram stories, because all this attention has been funneled to your Instagram, your Twitter, that kind of thing. Emails list as well. You should be creating opt-ins, but I'll go on that in a minute on how to convert the attention. But behind the scenes is really, really important. So post your day-to-day stuff. Like if you're building a product, post it on Instagram stories. Just it's so important to become, because then it gives you a chance to inject more personality into your personal brand. So it's called a personal brand for a reason, guys. Because on Instagram stories, you can, choose music, you can choose, and what will happen is if you've got the same music taste as, one of your viewers, then they'll like you even more. Like if, let's say you run an agency, but you also go to the gym and you post that on your Instagram story, you've just built another connection. So that's one thing that's really important. And you've sort of now developed an ecosystem, because you post on Instagram, you post on Twitter to send people back up here. So they see more of your content, they like you more, they spend more time with you, and eventually they hit the 7-hour rule, and then they can buy. So that's that. Now let's talk about how to actually convert this attention, what you've been waiting for. So it involves a growth specialist to leverage content assets, because that's what it is, right? It's content assets. By posting long form videos, these are evergreen videos that are going to be on the internet for years to come and be able to get you leads in years to come. And all you have to do is spend the time actually building it once, and you can just let it go and let the people do the work. I was going to say algorithm, but I don't believe in the algorithm. I believe in audience. Now, what I mean by that is people say, oh, I hate the algorithm, it doesn't work for me. No, it's just your audience doesn't like you, like simply, or the audience doesn't like your content. So once we're here, what I mean by growth specialist is you can hire someone. Let's say you run a 5K program. You can hire someone and they will get 10% of everyone they convert to your program. So they'll get $500. They are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these platforms, and they leverage your content assets, which are your long form videos. But they leverage them as assets and they utilize data, because when you post up here, we've got a feedback loop, because now we have data. And this is where they become most aware and actually are ready to buy. So yeah, we leverage this person, a VA essentially, to, get attention around our offer now, leverage content assets, utilize data. So one way someone can become a client is they directly book a call through YouTube. And then once again, just like what I spoke about before, you educate even more through the workflow. So when someone books a call, you send them more free stuff until they, get on the call with you and just buy like that. So that's one way someone can become a client. The other one is opt-in, free training, webinars, something that pretty much all these guys do. And I forgot to mention, right, but this Amazon model is pretty similar to what these guys are doing with their books. Now, I didn't really think of this too long ago, to be completely frank with you, but especially the big guys doing 9 figures, they have books. And it's the same thing. It's like, the way you should think about it is how can as many people as possible experience you, because people always want more. So if they can experience you with this low ticket model, it could be a book, it could be whatever. They get to experience you, they get to like you more, and then eventually they're so nurtured that they will just buy on the spot. And that's what Hormozi does. But going back here, right, where are we? We're here. So opt-in, free training, and webinars. So yeah, you basically want to get data, and we need to utilize data by doing SMS automations, email newsletter drips, all these things. You need to have this all dialed in if you want to build a 7-figure company. Now, you also lead magnets. Now, this is basically a very similar thing to free trainings. You're exchanging something of value in exchange for data. And trust me, do not underestimate the importance of having data, because this is powerful, especially the SMS. So lead magnets, you can also use as just your free assets. So because you put these videos on YouTube, your growth specialist can basically on Twitter say, we created a video about, how to onboard clients. Post that on Twitter, say DM me for it. They will DM you. No, sorry. Say comment under this tweet, that you want it, they send it to you in the DMs. So they send the YouTube video. You don't have to do anything because the leverage is insane because you've already created the asset. They're just leveraging it. So yeah, you send a DM, you send the asset, you then start a conversation with them, you qualify them, ask them a few questions, and then get them to book a call. Or even, what's becoming more popular is just getting people to buy in the DMs now. But you can only do that at this most aware part of the funnel, essentially. So also free, and then I'm trying to think where I was going with this. I'm trying to think. Free. I don't know what I meant by this. Damn it! Have I just confused myself with my own thing? But warm outbound. Okay, so yeah, a warm out. But I think that's very similar to like having a Discord or a group, essentially. So you then get the VA or the growth specialist, setter, whatever you want to call them, in the group, and that's warm outbound. So it's very similar. Warm outbound is reaching out to people who know who you are, and that is insanely powerful because they know who you are, they're most aware, and they're ready to buy. They just need that extra push over the edge. And when you dial in these 4 things at the end of the funnel, you're going to make 7 figures. And it's what I'm currently trying to do or trying to implement going into 2024. So I can hopefully, cross that 7-figure mark, hopefully in 2024, which would be exciting, probably towards the end. But essentially, yeah, this is how it works, and it's what they are all using. And if you're scared of putting content online, actually, this is a really important topic that I wasn't going to talk about, but I think it really needs the awareness around it. How bad do you want money? If you aren't willing to put your face on a camera, and it doesn't have to be like the whole thing, it could just be like what I'm doing, just recording a loom, speaking about other things, speaking about what you're doing, what's making you money, XYZ, whatever, as long as you start in a pond, just like what I talked about and gave you advice about. How bad do you want money? And I think Alex Hormozi's, one of his friends, says he didn't want to create content, but then he understood that the impact he wanted to have in his life, comes at, a cost, and that cost is to make content and actually be famous. So, and I think if the quote was like, if I have to be famous to have the impact I want, then I'm willing to pay that price every day. So if you want impact and you want to truly change your life, then you may just have to create content. And this is how the top of the guys are doing it, like the best of the best. Obviously there's people I haven't included in here. Yeah, but I could speak about this all day. Like there's so many people. And yeah, I wanted to also mention that the Nero, that's funny. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys really liked this video. It was something that I really wanted to just explain because I know this channel is about automations, appointment setting, AI, all this stuff, and just, agencies. But yeah, I think content is definitely something that's going to be more and more popular as going forward, especially long form. And we're transitioning into a slower, more raw sort of form of content instead of short form content because I think that's sort of dried up. But yeah, like, comment and subscribe. Definitely subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10k subs before the end of the year. Trying to grow my personal brand, hey. So yeah, hopefully you did find this video of value. Yeah, and if you want to work with me, there'll be a link in the description to book a call. It's mainly evolved around sort of agencies with appointment setting. I basically hire you a growth specialist. We've already got them trained, and they basically, utilize all of this and outbound as well. So messaging people who don't know who you are. So we can dial in your outbound campaigns. So LinkedIn, Facebook, email, they do it completely for you using our SOPs, really powerful stuff. So yeah, I'll leave a link in the description. It'll be the top one, I think. But yeah, other than that, have a great day and check out my other videos like this one if you want more content of me. You see what I'm doing? Ecosystem. Okay, I'm going to go. Peace.